The mission is simple: replace petrol-powered bodabodas with affordable electric alternatives that reduce pollution while improving drivers' profitability. eWAKA is helping accelerate the transition towards cleaner and more efficient urban mobility. The real story of eWAKA is not just about technology. It is in the lives of the riders. When riders are about to reduce their daily cost and access productive assets, their work becomes more sustainable. Do you remember this? This was Nairobi in 2020. During the COVID lockdowns, we could see so clearly that for the first time in years, people could see the Mount Kilimanjaro from Nairobi, nearly 300 kilometers away. The air was that clear. But today, the city looks more like this. So what should we do to get our clean air and our Mount Kilimanjaro back? This is what we are discussing with you today with the business case of electric mobility with eWAKA, right here on Melanin Means Business. eWAKA is an electric vehicle company operating in Kenya and Rwanda, focused on providing electric bicycles and electric scooters designed specifically for African urban transport. The mission is simple: replace petrol-powered bodabodas with affordable electric alternatives that reduce pollution while improving drivers' profitability. Through electric two-wheelers, charging solutions, and financing options for riders, eWAKA is helping accelerate the transition towards cleaner and more efficient urban mobility.
My name is Celeste Chetken-Fogel. I'm the CEO and co-founder of eWAKA Mobility. eWAKA Mobility is an ecosystem, a platform that combines reliable electric vehicles with trained riders, digital tools, and fleet management to ensure efficient mobility and logistics in the African ecosystem.
Urban mobility is the engine of all African cities, but it is also becoming one of the biggest environmental challenges. In Kenya alone, there are more than 2 million bodabodas operating across the countries. In cities like Nairobi, motorcycles and informal public transport carry over 70% of all daily commuters. These vehicles are essential for economic life, moving workers, foods, and goods across cities every day. But they also rely heavily on petrol-powered engines, which contribute significantly to urban emissions. In Africa, transport accounts roughly 20 to 25% of total CO2 emissions, and motorcycle vehicles represent a rapidly growing share of that footprint. In Rwanda, the situation is similar. Motorcycle taxis dominate the transport ecosystem, and Kigali alone has tens of thousands of bodaboda operators moving millions of passengers every year. As African cities continue to grow, Nairobi is expected to reach over 7 million residents by 2035. The question becomes clear: how do we move millions of people every day without suffocating our cities?
When I think about the future of Africa, mobility is one of the most powerful economic levers, right? Mobility determines how people and goods move. And that is actually the heart of the economy everywhere, including, of course, in Africa.
My name is Peter Kioi, and I've been riding this eWAKA 2.0 bike for the last 5 months. With this 2.0 eWAKA bike, I'm making more trips. That means I'm earning more. Before nilikuwa natumia ile mountain ya kitambo, ile manual ya kitambo. Ile bike inachokesha kitu ya kwanza, alafu maybe ukipata kazi inaenda mbali, ile una take time kuenda sana, unachoka. Lakini kutoka nipata hii 2.0, it's been easier, faster. Clients wanafurahia juu hii bike juu sasa I'm able to do more trips. I'm able to carry load. Iko na bag hapa na iko na carrier fiti. Kwa hivyo inamaanisha nabeba uzito. And I'm making more trips. Being with this e-bike has made my life easier. Juu sasa Ukiwa tu na hii bike experience ni tamu sana. Mengi advice vijana huku nje wenye wanatumia hizi bado bike za kitambo, wakubali tu kuchange, wakubali kuupgrade, wapate bike electric, juu electric kama hii bike si expensive na it's easier, smooth, unabeba uzito, yeah.
My name is Kwamboka Unduso. I'm the head of commercial. I lead the sales team that does the acquisition of customers and also the fleet team that does rider management and also asset management. On the rider side, two things that we do. We do the rider onboarding. This also has to align with different partnerships that we have with different platforms where we've agreed the metrics, we know the supply, we know also they need the supply. So what we do is we onboard the riders, we train the riders, we do the vetting, of course, from the initial stage to understand, where do they come from, different things, and then we do the onboarding. The onboarding process has different modules. This, it's to enable them to do their job well, and also to explain how they will meet the metrics and how this will affect the algorithm for them to earn more.
Another part of access is being able to actually access the vehicle when it comes to licensing, when it comes to knowing how to use the vehicles. Electric vehicles are easier to use than their petrol counterparts. We also train in that space. On the other side of this, you have the vendors. You have vendors that have not been part of the digital ecosystem, but you also have those that are part of the ecosystem, your platforms that also suffer from drivers that are not only, because the problem is not that they are independent drivers, the problem is they have to hustle. So if you can bring them together and through fleet management operating processes, you can actually show them how to make the platforms and the vendor systems work for them, then they can actually be assured to earn more money on a daily basis. More money is actually the result of more deliveries and efficiency in the deliveries that make you receive even more deliveries or more trips.
So we have a fleet management system. The fleet management system entirely is to, like I said, ensure that the riders are performing well. The fleet management system, this is where we have the profile of the rider. We get to know who is this rider that you're onboarding to the fleet, because we have this guarantee to the partners that we are giving you a rider that we believe they are strong and we know them well to do your job. There's, they are transporting packages, and this is like a safety issue and building that trust. So what the fleet management system doing, we have different pieces that we do. So we have the rider onboarding piece, we have the live ops piece, we have the asset management piece, and we also have the rider support piece. So this system is to make sure that when we are onboarding, on the onboarding pieces, that we understand the rider, they know the skills. We have the live ops teams, which is real-time tracking the performance of the rider. How many orders have you been proposed? How are we managing that? And then we have the rider support team, which says, in case you have a problem, we are passed on to call, and then they handle the issues that are coming to make sure that the rider, at the end of the day, they are meeting their target.
Fundamentally, the problem in logistics in Africa is not just last mile logistics, it's logistics across the value chain is fundamentally fragmented. Right? And this fragmentation comes at a cost. It comes not only at a cost of efficiency, but also affordability, as well as access, right? And so for eWAKA, it was very clear from very early days that the solution was not going to be to electrify the current system, right? Of course, electrification comes with many positive elements, you know, cleaner environment and so on and so forth. But primarily, efficiency in the system is what actually would lead to sustained economic prosperity, not only for the drivers and riders, but also for vendors and people like you and I who use these platforms and depend on those drivers in order to be able to access goods.
Electric mobility is more than just a climate solution. It is an economic opportunity. If Africa successfully builds its own electric mobility ecosystem, from vehicle assembly to battery technology and charging infrastructure, the sector could create thousands of jobs across manufacturing, energy, logistics, and digital platforms. For cities like Nairobi and Kigali, it could mean cleaner air and lower transport costs.
So we are solving the problem whereby the old way was, you know, you go get an account, you need to figure out how to get a bike, you know, and at eWAKA we are trying to solve like an, you know, the whole solution where we are saying, you know, come, we will train, you'll get the skills, you have the vehicle with us, we'll give you the vehicle, we'll train you how to use the vehicle, and then we will link you to a partner who now where you're going to do the job.
So, you know, we're very grateful for institutions like Melanin Kapital because I think the big elephant in the room is really financing. You know, people tend to distinguish between local founders and other founders. As I see it, that distinction is actually detrimental to the issue, right? Because we're building solutions that work for the continent, and we're building solutions that work for those who need it. And that's really where our partnership with Melanin Capital has been helpful. We have a debt facility that allows us to increase our traction on the ground by tying the facility. It's important to note that it is a local currency facility, which at concessionary rates, which ensures that you are able to improve your traction, but not only improve your traction, but also tie revenue to repayment in a reasonable way, right? And of course, there are other instruments, but I think the partnership with Melanin Capital has really helped us with being able to access, you know, life-sustaining capital for companies like ours. Yeah.
The Africa Island is where young people are joining the transition from the IC or mechanical to electric vehicles in different ways, you know, using them to earn or, you know, mode of transport from home to work, for shopping and different things.
When eWAKA succeeds, what you will see is more efficiency in logistics, right? Today, Africans pay at least 40% more than people in the United States or Europe when it comes to last mile logistics, right? And this is a cost that is borne by all of us, right? So more efficiency, you will definitely see that. We will definitely see a cleaner environment as we're pushing for more and more electric vehicles. We started with cargo bicycles and motorcycles and are going to expand the types of vehicles on our platforms. And you will see that not only the drivers will be earning more, but vendors will be earning more as well, because now they're able to sell more because we are happy with how quickly we get our deliveries or how quickly we move, and so we'll be able to use you know, the systems, the platforms even more. So I see economic prosperity across alongside environmental growth, environmental protection.
The Africa I want to see is an Africa with clean cities. Cities where we can breathe, we can walk, and we can just enjoy the nature in our own cities. I really look forward to seeing Innovations like eWAKA scale because thanks to them, we'll be able to live in the Africa we want. If you'd like to join the movement to finance innovations just like the one you just watched today, that can be scaled to make a real difference on the continent, visit the Melanin Kapital neobank dashboard, our partner for these business case studies. Together, we can finance today the Africa we want tomorrow.